So I've got these chainsaws. I was planning on doing a video on these over the next couple of days sometime, but this one is irritating. So every time I store it, I get a puddle of bar oil, and what I mean by that is this. So I cleaned this last night, and that is off 12 hours maybe, and essentially the oil is leaking down and making a puddle. Now I know that does not look like much, that's actually quite acceptable for a chainsaw, but that is off 12 hours, and if I leave this for a week I have a full massive puddle. If I leave this for about a month, it is literally a swimming pool. It literally covers the entire base and all on the front, and after about a year it depletes the entire tank. So I understand once you run a chainsaw there will be some oil left on the chain and in the housing, which will naturally drip down with heat and just being rested, but this is continuously leaking. It's not a huge issue, to be fair. Like, I've basically hardly used this. I've used this maybe 2 or 3 times in probably 5 years, but so I could technically just drain the oil, and when I want to use it, put some bar oil in, then use it, empty it, and I'll be fine. But it's just irritating me, and I want to get to the bottom of it if I can. I thought it was the seal on the cap, put a new one on, and it's still doing it. So, and to be fair, it was never actually leaking there, it was more this side. So I figured we'll just bring it over to the bench and have a look. I have no idea what it could be. I know on stills there's a breather hole vent type thing down there, but it's not really leaking from there, so I don't think, if this has that, it's not that. It's probably something to do with the tubing that goes to the actual tank. I've not actually looked, but there will be a hose that goes from here, some sort of grommet or something, and then it'll come through the plastics into the housing, which will attach to the pump, which then obviously lubricates the chain. The pump and everything works because the oil, in fact, actually works a little bit too much. It is quite a wet running chain, so even on idle it leaves splatter across the ground. When you rev it up, it kind of slings slings the oil off it, so it's definitely getting way too much oil. So there's something going on, and we'll have a quick look. If we can't fix it, we can't fix it, but at least I've tried. So this is a really old chainsaw, and the date at the top is 1998, so you know, it's a 27-year-old. It's obviously seen better days. I don't think this works anymore, if I remember right, but it does function as a chainsaw. I've actually just sharpened the chain the other day, so the chain is super sharp. But yeah, it's for what I use it for, the occasional cutting. It's had very little use. I think I got this in a job lot. I think I bought 2 or 3 off a guy. Super cheap. This one, I think I rebuilt the carb and did a few things to it, but that was like 2019 maybe. It was before COVID, so it's, for what I use it for, it's been perfectly fine, but it will be getting replaced with maybe both of them, if not definitely the one. And there's a reason behind that I might go into in the video. We'll see. But yeah, so this is a Partner 370 petrol chainsaw. Runs fine, leaking oil. So the first thing we need to do is get the bar oil out, which is this cap here. So I'll remove this, drain the oil, and then we need to remove the bar and the chain. Quite simply, slacken these nuts, release the tension, remove the nuts, then this will come off, and then the bar and chain will come off. So let's get that done. Let's get the bar oil out of the saw. That was a bit over tight, but never mind. There's still a bit left actually. It was full. It's probably about half full now, so it's definitely went down. doesn't have to all come out, but as long as most of it is out, it should be fine. Tell you what, while we're in here, let's just see if I can actually see whether the tube comes through. Right, so that looks okay. I can't see any cracking. It's weighted down by that coil, the spring at the end. There's a filter, I'm guessing, at the bottom. Can you even see what I'm looking at? There, it's probably a bit better. So you can see it all down there. Looks okay, to be fair. So we're not interested in the bar of the train. Essentially, there's a pump mechanism, I'm guessing, somewhere in there, and that will pump up the oil to this section. Now what's interesting is that's actually bone dry. There's a bit of oil there, but not, would have expected that to be more on top. Now, how do I get this off? Is it just pry that up? No screws. That's different. I'm not really that familiar with these, so if you guys are watching this, you're probably watching this because you're trying to fix it yourself. So you're probably at the same level I am, but I'm sure we can get something sorted. So I've managed to get it off basically at an angle and just wiggled it up these threads by pulling that way and wiggling. It just popped up, rotated it to here, and then slid it off. Right, so I mean, like I say, I'm not too familiar with these, but this is the connection to the oil tank, and then there's this rubber connection here which goes to there, which is where the oil shoots out of. And when the engine is spinning, there's a pump behind here, and obviously the faster you go, the faster that pump will go, the more oil you get. That looks questionable, so I don't like how that's obviously quite wet, and also it looks like it's leaking. So I wonder if it's going to be something as simple as that. I mean, this should just pull out, I would think. That's obviously the hose going through to the other side. I wonder if I mean, it feels quite soft and pliable. It's a shame I can't get this out. I can't get this out because I think it's connected to the pump. That actually feels like it's in there pretty tight. You see how it's not like straight? I thought it might be leaking from here, but to be fair, it's on there. There we go. So yeah, I don't think it was leaking from that because that seemed really tight. And the best thing to do is to clean all this up and then maybe put some oil in and turn it over by hand and see what happens. So, just going to give this a quick spray down. It's probably worth mentioning that this is nice and flat. I assume if there was like a bend or something here, that would be the reason why there's a leak. That seems pretty decent. So we're all clean. We need to put this 90-degree elbow back in. So make sure there's nothing on the end that can stop it from seating. Looks okay. That side in first. I mean, it could just be that the rubber is expanded and it's not getting the seal that it once used to. And it feels pretty firm to me. That's well in there, that's pretty tight. So nothing should be leaking technically. Now, so just make this really clean. And the reason why I'm going a bit over the top is, one, it's just why we've got access, makes sense really. But I need to be able to see exactly where it's coming from. That now is spotless. So let's put some oil in. I'll let it debris in the bottom. I mean, there's a filter, but still, if I go slow, I'll probably just put the clean stuff in. Because to test this, it's gonna have to be pretty full. I can reuse this. All cleaned up, nice and clean around there, clean at the bottom, and then clean here, because this is where it used to always leak. And so far, this is still clean. But what is interesting, the oil is actually coming out. I think might just be left over, but this is where the oil comes out from the oil pump. So this bit here, so the oil goes up, and then there's some sort of pump mechanism behind here which could have failed, and the oil shoots out of this bit here, up here, and then onto the bar. And this is all nice and dry, so I don't think that's a problem. I think it might be something to do with this. I think what we'll do is we'll leave this probably overnight, and we'll come back. I'm hoping we shouldn't see a massive puddle around here. I've got a funny feeling it's going to leak around here, possibly, but it could also leak under the clutch. It might have been leaking down here. That's a possibility. So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll see where the puddle is. If there's a puddle, I mean, it might have actually been down here. There could have been some debris or something in the connection, and that might have just been stopping it from sealing properly. So it's very full. I never fill that high. So if it's going to leak, it will 100% definitely still leak. So let's leave that, come back tomorrow and see how we're getting on. So it's only been about 30 minutes and you can already see the oil is starting to run down and drip here and then pool at the bottom. So I think everything is okay apart from the pump. So I wonder if the oil pump is actually leaking. I'm not too sure, but we need to get this clutch off. So I'm going to remove the top cover because we need to lock the piston from moving. And we will remove that brand new plug. For some reason I didn't put a new air filter in, which is a bit strange, but we shouldn't need too much rope. I've got some brake caliper tools. I wonder if they will fit that, but at first I'm going to try a punch and see if I can rock it round. So I work on cars and I have this rewind tool, and it basically pushes the piston back in the caliper. I did try this. It has a small and a large pins like so, and they were just too small, so that would not work. I tried this off camera and it worked. I couldn't believe it. I didn't think it would work, that's why I wasn't recording. Essentially, make sure your cord's in, pull it round so it locks the piston up. I literally just put these on, grip them and then twist it, and sure enough, actually worked. I don't mind buying tools, but this is the first time I need to take one of these off, and it could be the last. It's not something I really mess about with much, so if I can get away with buying a tool, I'm happy about that. So the clutch has actually got a bit of wear, but it works fine, so I won't address that at the moment. Let's just pull out. So there will be a needle bearing, so just be careful. It should be pressed in, I think, actually, but let's have a look. Yeah, so that's your needle bearing. I mean, mine rotates freely, so should be fine. So I can come off. So your screwdriver, 2 Phillips. Because this is reverse thread, you don't have to worry too much about all the torque settings and such, because it will tighten itself up when it's running. I mean, I'll do pretty tight as I can get it, but it's not going to do any damage. So let's get this off. I mean, I don't really know what to expect behind here. I'm guessing it'd be some sort of piston that goes in and out. It's probably got some sort of gear on there, and every time the engine rotates, the gear will push this piston in at once, or something like that. So I'll need to disconnect this again. Seeing there's a lot of oil down there. I'm hoping the back of that is all wet. Is it wet? It's hard to tell, actually. Right, yeah, good. So it's wet here, it's running down to here, and it looks like it's leaking there, but it's not. It's actually running down the back end of it. So I don't think, does this come off? Yeah. So this looks surprisingly dry. I thought there might have been leaking in here somewhere. So that's the gears. Oh yeah, there we go. When them gears rotate, the oil comes out. So, am I any further forward? I guess the next test is to clean it all up. We'll put this back and we'll just see if the oil runs out of this hole. I would have thought it would have been designed so that hole was above the highest level of the tank. So, we're all clean again. Yep. So, we'll leave this like so. And we'll see if or where it leaks. So it's been 4, maybe 5 days, and surprisingly, bone dry. Not a drop. I mean, that's the bottom of the saw, and that is where it's sat. Literally not moved, just sat there for 4 or 5 days. So I was thinking about this when we fixed this the other day. It was leaking, clearly. I removed this hose and I removed this fitting, cleaned the areas, put it all back together, and then I pulled it over a few times and it leaked a little bit. So when I was giving it a few pulls, basically this oil pump would have been rotating with this here that connects into there, spins the shaft, which then pumps oil. So I think basically all I did was pump up a tiny bit of oil into here because the oil pump would have been working, and that bit of oil that was leaking was just residue oil. Now when these things have ran and then left, yes, you will get bits of oil. Basically the contents of this will empty out all around here. You normally get build up in here around the clutch area. Chainsaws are generally normally quite messy looking devices, so I think that was just normal because it has not leaked a drop. I think the culprit was probably in this connection. There might have been some debris or something just stuck around there and it was just basically leaking out of there, or it was leaking out of this fitting. But the reason why I don't think it was that, because I mentioned this I think the other day. So basically that is your oil tank. Your oil tank finishes here. So if you follow that along, well actually you can see the top of the tank there. The top of the tank finishes about there. So for oil to leak out of here is highly unlikely because the oil is lower. It's not possible for the oil to basically flow over and down. So I don't think it was leaking from there. I think it was an issue with this connection. But hasn't leaked a drop, and hopefully that should be it. I expected a ripped hose or something broke, but yeah, looks okay. So I need to put this back together. I'll get this pump back in, fasten that down, get the clutch and the housing back in, this guy here, and when I get to the clutch I'll come back and show you guys if this works again. It should do. It doesn't have to be super tight. Don't worry about torquing it down or anything daft like that because it's reverse thread. So when the engine's running, it's actually getting tighter and tighter. So it will tighten itself. Getting it off is the tricky part. Let's get this oil pump back in. I believe it was something like that. There we go. It's been a few days, so let's hope I can remember where everything goes. Let's put that in there on tight. Actually, I'll just make sure it's clear. Yeah, just make sure nothing fell in there. Yeah, everything should be okay now. I think, obviously I put a new plug on. I did do a few things to this. I can't remember, it was years ago I worked on this. I think I probably cleaned the carb, and I think I replaced the fuel line, because that fuel line looks brand new. So that was probably something. I wonder if that was the issue actually. I wonder if it was just basically a broken fuel line. I should really pack the bearing, but it's not bone dry. It's obviously been ran. Just get some of that pushed in there. This sprocket goes on the back side, like so. But I know that goes there, I believe, like that. Yeah, that's the clutch indentations. But I think this one on before, the actual, yeah. So that goes on first. Don't see any indicators to state which way it goes on. Sometimes, if you have like a distinctive mark, like up here somewhere, it's all got to be lined up, but I don't see any of that. And I can see where the clutch was sitting on this plate, and there's no markings I can see, so I'm guessing that just goes back in. Just get a bit of sandpaper, emery cloth. Just take that shine off a little bit. Okay, it's a bit better. And this just spins on. Just realised what I did. Put the spark plug back, didn't I? So I'll just hide this back in. And then turn the piston. And essentially, all I did was put them in like so. And just basically give it all my might. Do it one more time. That's pretty tight. Like I say, when the engine is running and spinning, that'll lock itself in. So we'll put the plug in, put the cap back on, and I'll come back when we do the chain. We're ready to put this plate on. It's pretty straight. I don't see any bends or anything. It's important that this bit here, I'm guessing, is straight and clean, because that pushes up against this. And this is where the oil comes up. So when it's running, the oil should come up this passage and then go onto the bar. So if I get this back on, I've bent that clip back, as you can see there. So to get this off, I think I did that, didn't I? Rotate or something. So I can't remember how I did it. Should have put this on before the clutch. There we go. Can be done, but a bit easier without the clutch on. So I think, do I need to just knock that tab in? Because that'll stop it from moving, I think. It's pretty solid. To be fair, the bar, when you put the bar on, it will actually hold that back. So I'll get this bar back on. So I have actually sharpened the chain, and I've also filed the bar. So the bar had loads of burrs around the edge. Just took a file and got the edges a bit smoother, because it'll bind in the timber if you have a bit of a lip on the bar itself. So we'll get this cover on. I did wonder why the brake didn't work. I thought, I wonder if the band's damaged. No band. So there should be a band inside there, and essentially when you put the brake on, it locks the clutch, but there's no band. So that'll explain why the brake never worked. That's how you adjust the bar tension. You've got this little pin here, and that pin has to go in that hole at the very bottom there. Sometimes it's hard to see if it's actually in place, but if you tighten it down, yeah, the bar's moving, so that's attached. Let's put the bolts back on. What I'll do is I'll actually use this and just come back and adjust that a bit. So you always lift the bar up. We've got oil. That's the pan it makes. It's oiling. So now we just leave it. So it's actually been a few days, and this is the result. So this looks bad. It's not as bad as it looks. Obviously it's on paper, so it's probably just a small puddle which is actually spread out. But this was from 1 hour. So we did the work. I left on the paper towel, went for some food, came back, and this was after about 1 hour. I then replaced the sheet. It's been a couple of days, and this is what we have now. So it probably looks a lot. It's not actually that much. So basically, like I said, I left it for an hour, then I put a fresh sheet under. I came out the following morning, and this literally looked just like this. Maybe this bit is new, but this bit in the centre and these bits here, that was all there within the next day, and it's not got any worse. So a day and a half or so later, and that has not leaked anymore, so the problem is fixed. Oil will be pumping out and onto the chain and then slung around. So there's oil all over this bar, there's oil in the chain, there's oil around the clutch, there's oil up on this surface here, and essentially it just basically drips down. Now when the engine is hot, obviously the oil is thinner, and that's why for the first few hours you get quite a bit of oil, but then once you've got past that, that is it. So we'll end it there. This one's working, done and dusted. This one off camera, I did some work to it. That is all ready to be used. We've got these two saws here. This one is probably going to be my next project. This one needs too much work, it's missing too many parts. To buy the parts to get that thing running could be quite expensive, so probably leave that one. I do have that still to look at, which is a contender. But yeah, I think the next project will be this one, so stay tuned for that one, and I'll catch you guys next time.